Hello everyone, I am back reviving this YouTube channel. It's been a minute. I started working as a new grad nurse, holidays, craziness, but I really this year, 2020, want to focus on this YouTube channel, being a resource for people just like how others were a resource for me on YouTube, and giving back to all of my nursing students, new grad nurses, which technically I'm still a new grad nurse, so I know where you're at, and just helping you all out from someone who's been through it all, who's going through it all. So first things first, everybody on my Instagram page, which is @nurse_in_a_skirt, that's where you can find me. It asked for mainly new grad nurse stuff. So today I'm going to be going through I've done videos like this before, but I'm going to take one down, and because the editing was terrible, still learning, and kind of refresh this whole what you don't know when you're a new grad. So I'm going to break it down 10 things, try and keep it simple. Don't even have notes. I'm just going off the top of my head. So let's go. First thing you don't know when you start as a new grad is that your work has just begun. Yes, to me, it's easier than nursing school. Let's get that out of the way. Number one, being a new nurse is easier than nursing school. Why? You have the freedom to practice on your own. So when you're a nursing student, you kind of feel held back. Like, yeah, they tell you you're the nurse, but you're like, am I actually the nurse? You feel a little held back. The moment I had my first shift as a licensed registered nurse, all these hesitations and weird feelings of like giving medications or doing certain things kind of evaporated, and it felt really awesome. So one, you don't feel as held back. Two, you're making money. You're getting paid for what you're doing, so that's really nice. Three, you just, I don't know why, like, it's just easier, okay? Three, it's just easier. Four, you get more training. If you're in a specialty, you get a lot more training that applies more to your specific job than you did as a student nurse. So things kind of become more clear. The lines become clear. You have policies, procedures that you can look at if you have questions, and you should have a preceptor. And number five, why being a new grad nurse is easier, or I should say like point, A, B, C, D, E, F, but whatever, is that you've made it, and you just realize, like, I'm here, I can do this, I'm licensed. You're not worrying about the NCLEX, you're not studying, you're not doing all those things. You're just able to focus on being a nurse, and that's why it's easier. Things they don't tell you about being a new grad is that you can start in a specialty. So many times I heard you guys are going to have to start med surg, especially because you're an associate degree program. It's going to be harder and impossible to get into a specialty. No, I'm here to tell you that's not true. Look up new grad program, residency programs in your area. I knew of a hospital nearby that specifically was known for taking new grads in specialty positions. I went for that hospital the hardest because I knew I wanted to be in a specialty, either ICU or obstetrics, which I got one of the two I wanted. Never leaving. Pound the pavement. Research what hospitals take new grads in your area. Look up new grad residency programs near you, or be willing to move a couple hours or even out of state. Just don't settle for med-surg if you know that's not what you want. Now, if you get offered a med-surg position, consider taking it. Probably should take it, because most of the time after a year you can transfer within your hospital to a specialty area. But also don't be like, oh, I can't apply for any specialty positions because I have to do med-surg. No, you don't. Don't believe that lie. Three, or am I in 2 or 3? 3, being a new grad nurse, you are going to be expected to know things because you're a nurse now. So you're going to be expected to know more things than you are as a student nurse. So people might be a little harsher on you. Don't take it personally. If you have to gently remind them, well, I've only been a nurse for X amount of months. I'm still learning my bearings. do that, because you should not feel pressured to be like an expert within 6 months. You know, push yourself to be just as good as someone who's had a year of experience, but also remind people, I am still learning. I am new at this. I just graduated nursing school like 6 months ago, a year ago, you know, so don't let people bully you into thinking like, oh, you're not good enough, because you are. You got the job. You kept your job for 6 months to a year, you know. Remind them, gently remind them of, you know, I just got here. I'm still learning. You're still learning. Experienced as nurses are still learning. Even though they don't want you to think that they are, they're still learning. So, number 5? Am I at number 4 or number 5? Anyways, number 4 and number 5. Know the logistics of your job. Like, when I was in orientation, I was just worried about getting through orientation, getting through all the HR stuff, and then going on the floor. But, like, ask questions from your manager. Sit down with your manager and ask, how do I ask for time off? When can I start asking for time off? When do I start accruing sick hours, and when does that matter? Like, when can I call out sick? You can call out sick anytime, but if you do it consistently during your 90 days, before your 90 days is up, they can cut you. Okay? Ask logistical questions, because you're just going to be so focused on the job that when it comes time to ask for vacation and you're only asking for a month or 2 months ahead, when other people have asked for vacation around the same time, a year ahead, because they knew that you can ask for vacation a year in advance, you're going to be really upset, you know, because you're going to be ready to take a vacation and you can't, because no one taught you logistically how to navigate this new job, this professional arena. So talk to your preceptor. I had a really great preceptor who knows the ins and out of like how to ask for sick time, what your rights are as a union represented nurse, how to ask for time off, when to ask for time off, you know, learn those things, because once you've settled into the job and all that and you want to start, you know, indulging in those benefits, you're going to want to know how to do it and how to do it right. Because, just short story, I asked for time off in April. We're going on a trip. We were going to go to Europe, but we're going to buy a house instead and a second car, which is the adult thing to do. I asked like one nurse. I was in pediatrics orienting one night and we were talking about it, and she's like, oh, this is how you ask for time off. And I was like, cool. And a month went by and my boss hadn't approved it yet, which they're supposed to approve it within a month. And so I asked the nurse for my unit, and she's like, oh no, this is how our boss wants you to ask for time off. And I was like, okay. And she's like, and then you need to email her to tell her that you asked for time off. Like, each unit is going to be different. My unit kind of does things weird. So learn how your unit does things and do it that way. Do it the way your boss wants you to do it, as long as it's all within like union rights. Okay. That's another thing. That's like number 6. Okay. Number 6, know your union contract. Like, I have my little book in my car, and basically it has all my union contract. So when certain things come up, I know what to do, like asking for sick time. This is like the most interesting part to me, because this is my pay scale. So when my 6-month raise came around, I knew to check my pay stubs, make sure that HR had enacted that. And if they didn't, you would go to HR and be like, hey, I need this raise. I'm due for this raise. And they would also have to retro pay you for any money you weren't given when you were supposed to get the raise, if that makes sense. So new grad nurses, know your union contract. It protects you. It's all the benefits you get as a nurse. The union does so much for you. Some people don't like working for union hospitals. I love it, because that's how you're protected. That's how you keep your job. They negotiate raises for you. They negotiate sick time for you. They negotiate so many things for you. So union dues, paying for union dues isn't fun, but it's worth it. Okay, so if you're a new grad nurse looking for a job, really consider working somewhere that has a union. Okay. Another thing, like number 7, I'm gonna just stop numbering these because I'm pretty sure I'm off the numbers. Okay. Another thing I would say that has stuck out to me the most is that the culture of your work environment really does affect you. So like if you're in a positive culture, it's going to make your job better. If you are in the field that you want to be, say you've like been dying to be an ICU nurse, but you're in a toxic work environment, eventually you're going to hate ICU. You might love the work itself, but your coworkers, your manager, like, so those things do affect how you feel about work. So you've got to take that into consideration. Like there's some weeks or weekends or weekdays, like I love my weekend crew. My weekend crew is awesome. I actually love working weekends because I love the people I work with on the weekends. Now the other days of the week, there might be some nights where I'm like, I'm with this mix of people, and this charger sometimes stresses me out or isn't very helpful or this or that, or this coworker kind of like has a bad vibe, or just is always negative, always complaining. You got to think of those things. And if that's how your job is all the time and you're always surrounded by those people and it's making you hate work or just not like being there, think about it. Consider leaving. Like if you have your year or 2 years of experience, yes, you owe some loyalty to that hospital because they trained you as a new grad and they spent a lot of money on you. But if it's a toxic work environment, no bueno. Not worth it. It's not worth you hating being a nurse. Even if you're in a specialty, even if you made it into that specialty position that you love, but the people at work are making you hate your life or questioning why you became a nurse, leave now. Start looking for jobs, because nothing is worth making you question why you got into the profession that you love so much. So there you go. Easier said than done, but just so doable, you guys, especially after you get your 1 year of experience wherever you're at. Another piece of advice is that burnout is real even if you love your job. I love postpartum. I love it so much. I love the people I work with. But I worked myself so hard over the summer, did so many extra shifts. And since August, we took a vacation in August, but since then, like, haven't any had time off. Like, I've been working really hard and stuff. I got to a point where I was just like, I am tired of working. Like, I want to get low census. I want to get blah, blah, which I'll talk about low census in a minute. I just got burnt out of constantly being at work, and you've got to recognize when that happens, and you've got to take a step back, because even if you love your job, your patients are needy, your work is needy. Right now we're short-staffed, so they've called me 2 or 3 times in the past couple weeks asking to come in extra, and I have done it a couple times. But you also need to know your limit. You live to work. You don't live to work. You work to live. So don't sacrifice family time all the time or fun time all the time to go to work. Like, I'll balance it by being like, I can come in at 11 so I can still go to dinner with my friends, hang out with my husband that night, take a nap before work, still have dinner and stuff. That's how you do that work-life balance. So don't forget, yeah, the hustle is nice, the paycheck is nice. As a new grad nurse, all you want to do is like get as much experience, and you love that paycheck, but also know how to take care of yourself and not live to work. Now, I told them, if I did not have a husband, y'all would own me. Like, I would be here probably every night, because I love working hard and saving money and getting money. Like, that's just how I am. But I also know that for like my mental health and emotional health, and to maintain the fact that I love my job and not just be like, I hate this place because I'm always here, you got to draw a line somewhere. So know your limit, recognize. And I would say burnout for me felt like being like getting to work and being like, I don't want to be here right now. I love what I'm doing, but tonight I just want to be in bed sleeping. And that's when you know you've hit your limit. So when you feel that way, don't take any extra shifts. Don't push yourself to stay at work overtime, all of that. When you have your days off, don't think about work. Don't even, if they call you, don't answer. Just relax and kind of recharge yourself so that you can love going to work again. Time management, this is the biggest piece of advice I can give you all. Time management. Learn good time management. When you are orienting, yeah, you're going to learn the policies. Yeah, you're going to learn the procedures, but time management. Learn how to make a list. Highlight, check off things that you've done so that you know what's charted. What I do is I get my brain, I get report, I make a list of who I'm going to see first, when I'm going to see them, when all their meds are due. Like, I do an outline of my night. I outline my night by time increment, saying like, okay, for example, I have a mom who's a Q4-hour check because I check her every 4 hours because she just had a C-section. I check baby every 4 hours. So I'm going to check her at 1900, which is 7 p.m., 11 p.m., and 3 a.m. So I like, bam, 1, 2, 3. I schedule it out on my paper. And then I schedule out when are her meds due. Can I give her medications around the times that I'm going to go assess her and baby? Oh, yeah, I can, bam, bam, bam. Or other things due at other times in the night. I just schedule out my whole night before I even start to go look at everybody. Get my schedule done for the night, and then I go see all my patients. Because then if you don't do it, excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. If you don't do it right away and you go see all your patients, you might get wrapped up in, oh, I need pain meds, oh, I need this, oh, I need that. And it's already almost 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and you don't know what you're doing next. And that's when you start missing things. So as a new nurse, I think even 20 years from now, I'm still going to be doing this because time management helps you. Here's how I say why time management is so important. I can't talk. Here's why I say time management is so important. Time management allows you to be on schedule, to have time to critically think. Okay, think about that. As a nurse, biggest skill is critical thinking. Time management allows you to schedule your night and be on time so that you have time to critically think. You can section off 30 minutes at a time for each patient so that you have time to go in the room, really look at what's going on, and then I have time to call the doctor. I have time to look into this more if something's wrong. I have time to go grab them a pain med if I need to. Time management helps you in more ways than just being on time. Because if you're scrambling, if you're not on time, if you're rushing from one room to another, you don't have time to sit and really thoroughly assess the patient. You don't have time to really meet their physical, emotional needs because you're just I'm so behind, I'm just thinking about the next thing I have to do instead of what's right in front of me. So manage your time well. It'll save you so much heartache. It'll save you so much pain as a new grad nurse. Charting sucks. I hate charting so much sometimes, but schedule out time for charting. I got all my stuff done, all my initial assessments done at 7. Everybody's medicated. Nobody needs anything right now. I'm going to sit for 30 minutes and get all their charting done. Bam. Okay. There's nights where I have to chart for 8 patients because I have 4 moms and 4 babies. Those are the nights that I'm so grateful that I learned really good time management. So if you're struggling as a new grad nurse, ask your manager, hey, can I shadow someone who has really good time management? Can I work with someone who has really good time management? Can you help me with my time management? Because that is a skill you need to get down. Number one skill you got to get down as a nurse, okay? Get it done. It's like my soapbox. Another thing that was really helpful for me as a new grad nurse, write down everything. This book fit in my pocket. Anytime my preceptor would go over something, I wrote it down. Policies, procedures, when we do things, time frames, important numbers, important extensions, pharmacy, house suit, security, language line, all these charge nurse, L&D, all these numbers that are so important. And then just important things like what to do during an admission, what to notify the physician of, jaundice, what we do for jaundice for babies, just everything. If you have a question, write your question down, then write the answer. So please do this. I told another girl who just came in after me and started training after me. This lady is getting in her car in front of me and she just looked at me like I'm a crazy person. I kind of am. So sorry, lady, but your baby's cute. I I told another girl who was training right after me, hey, this is what because she was like, oh, you're doing so well. I'm not like tooting my own horn, but she's like, you're doing so well. Like, you seem so comfortable, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, because I wrote everything down, and then after my shift, I would read everything, or when I was orienting and I had time to sit down and read, I would read all the questions I asked. This other lady just looked at me who got in her car next to me and just looked at me like I was crazy. I'm not a crazy person, y'all. I just really like recording YouTube videos in my car. I don't know why. I like the angle. I like the lighting. Sorry, everyone in the Target parking lot. Okay. Back to my point. I wrote everything down because I didn't want to waste time making my preceptor constantly answer the same questions. I wanted to make a mistake once, write it down, write the answer down, write down, what I should have done, and then the next time it happened, I didn't have to be like, oh, what did she say, or be afraid to ask the question because I had it written down. Now, don't be afraid to ask questions, but don't make your preceptor have to tell you the same thing 5 times. Get it done, write it down, get it in your brain, learn from the mistake, and don't do it again. You've got to be super disciplined as a nurse. You're a nurse now. You're responsible for people's lives. You've got to take responsibility. So don't keep making the same mistake twice. Write it down. Write down the answer. Write down what you did. Write down what the solution would be. Write down policies. Just write everything down when you're precepting. It's going to help you so, so much. And it's going to make your preceptor see, hey, I'm really trying. I'm taking this seriously, and they're going to give you more freedom, and they're going to trust you more and all of that. Okay. Some fun perks of being a new grad nurse, of just being a nurse in general. There's something called low census where, so for my unit, after I oriented to my unit, after I oriented to pediatrics, and after I oriented to NICU, which are 2 areas I can float to, I was able to sign up on the low census list, which basically it comes out whenever the schedule is finalized. It's first come, first serve. And you write your name down for a night. So say this month I wrote down for January 24th because that's a weekend. And it'd be nice to have a night off for the weekend. You can write your name down. There's number 1 through 6. Number 1 usually gets it. So basically it's to help with staffing. So if you have 9 people scheduled for the night, but you only have 10 patients and you only need a charge nurse and 4 nurses, then those other people can get called off for work because we don't need that many nurses. We don't need to spend money paying that many people being here. So you get the night off, and you can either be paid or not paid. So I have a holiday bank and vacation time, and I can usually pull from my holiday bank. So whenever I work a holiday or a holiday comes by, we all get 8 hours in our bank, which is really nice. So if I get low census that night, if I want to pay myself, I could take from my holiday bank on our online system. It's kind of hard to explain, but I can pay myself. So most hospitals have that. So that's a nice perk. Know about low census because it's nice because you kind of get relief. Most of the time I don't get called off because we're always busy, but there's one of the perks that I didn't know about before becoming a legit nurse. Man, I feel like I went over so many things. And I feel like there might be more, but those are the things that come to mind initially when I think about things I didn't know when I was a new grad nurse. Oh, one last thing. How much you will call doctors, talk to doctors, and then you'll learn what certain doctors like. There's certain doctors I can call and be like, hi, this is what's going on with the patient. Can I give them this? And they'll be like, sure, yeah. Put the order in, and you have to put orders in. Well, you don't have to. But most of the time, you'll get an order over the phone, and you'll put it in, and then you'll chart that you notified the clinician and that this is what they ordered. That's a whole nother thing. I did not realize I'd be taking orders from doctors and putting orders in. That's another thing. So cover your butt every time you do that. Read back the order, confirm it, and then chart when you call the doctor, what you asked them for, why you asked for it, and what orders they gave you. And at the end of that, put no other orders given. Cover your butt as a nurse. Chart anything and everything because you don't want to miss anything and then end up in court 3 years later and they're like, you didn't chart this, and you're like, If you think you should chart it, chart it. And if an event happens, if a mom or baby, like for me, if a mom or baby or a patient looks kind of iffy and you call the doctor and they didn't want to do anything, chart it. Chart why you call them, chart your say what your recommendations were, why you were calling, and if the doctor ordered anything or not. So that's another thing too, as a new grad nurse, you've got to be very cognizant of protecting yourself and your license. So you will work a lot with doctors. You'll learn what each doctor likes and doesn't like. You'll learn what doctor wants you to explain everything, and what doctor just wants you to get to the point. What doctor you can make recommendations to, like, hey, I think, can I please give her some Benadryl because she's itching? Or can I give her 1 to 2 tabs of Norco? Yes, you can. Okay, thank you, doctor. Or what doctors want you to explain more and ask, what do you want? So learn your doctors. Don't let them yell at you. Be respectful, but also demand respect in a respectful way. And don't be intimidated by doctors. They're humans just like you are. And they have to work with you just as much as you have to work with them. So thank you all for watching this video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram at Nurse in a Skirt. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.